You know, Proverbs 14:1 says, a wise woman builds her house. You know, for a long time, I didn't even understand that. I'm like, I cannot build a house. I do not know how to do construction, blueprints. I'm not an architect. But to build your house as a wise woman, what does that look like? When I was newly married, I had no idea what it would look like to build even a healthy marriage, let alone a house. But I wanted to be a wise woman. And so, what does a wise woman do to build her house? Well, one of the things she does is she builds her husband. She builds her husband, and she doesn't speak to the man that is, but she begins to speak to that man that you know, girls, you all can see. When I first married John, I said, why do I see him this way and he's acting this way? And so I began to nag that difference. But nagging does not build, nagging tears down. It says, with a foolish woman, she tears down her house with her own hands. Wise builds, foolish tears down with her own hands. I don't want to be foolish. I don't want to be a demolition expert. I don't want to be an expert in people's flaws. I don't want to be critical. I want to be somebody whose words can actually build up other people. So John and I, we started to actually do this with each other. We've been married for 28 years, and we started to really focus on each other's strength, where I would build him up and speak strength to his strengths instead of spending all my time focusing on his flaws and pointing out his weaknesses. And it was amazing. I thought he'd become an egomaniac if I spoke strength to his strengths, but that's not what happened. He actually just began to flourish. And when I saw my husband flourish, then I just got a little crazy with this. I just had so much fun speaking strength to his strength. I just started complimenting him all the time. And then you know what happened? My boys started to see, hey, this is how women are supposed to treat men. And it actually began to become a very protective environment for our family, that women that were honoring, women that built their house, treated men a certain way. You know, when I build up my husband, it just has to come back to me. You know, you can't sow building up and encouragement and strength and enthusiasm and have it not come back to you. And you say, well, my husband doesn't build me up. I'm not going to build him up. You know what? We need to start. We need to start building each other's lives. And then you say, okay, why are you picking on the women? Why are you telling the women they have to build? Well, that's what God says to me. So I'm just telling you what he said to me. But if a wise woman builds her house, what does a wise man do? A wise man, brothers, I hope you're listening out there, builds his woman. Because if you build your woman, she'll build your house. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot to build us. If you tell us we're necessary, if you tell us we're wise, if you tell us we're beautiful, if you tell us that there's no other woman like us, even if we doubt that at some level, we're going to rise to that occasion and be everything you speak over us. When my husband married me, I had a suntan and a six-pack. And he started, not a beer, my stomach. And my husband started saying to me, I bet she's godly. I bet she's wise. I bet she'll be great with raising kids. I bet she's going to be, you know, really good with finances. I was none of those things. Before I figured out that John could figure out that wasn't true, I got into the Word of God. And I learned how to be those things that my husband called forth in me. You know what? We all grow in reflection of the love we're shown. So I'm going to give you a challenge today. Do something to build your woman, or do something to build your house.